immediately and then defend on 2-base versus 2-base. I think that would have been better.
If he recalls to the natural, he can clean up every roach there as well.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be able to trap.
Exactly.
They can't escape.
Well, guys, we're going to go into set number 2 here of the losers match. Hurricane versus Leenock fighting for their lives here in the SSL. Bonnie Research Station is map number 2, another Gold Mace map. I think Leenock may go for it again. Hurricane showing some weakness to the style in game number 1. Let's go into game number 2 here to see how it goes.
That was Lincoln Park. Straight up,
Yeah,
man.
Moonglade?
Straight up.
It's pretty good. I like Lincoln Park. But I also like this guy up in the top in the blue, our Protoss player. He's Hurricane. I like him, but I don't love him like I love Zest.
Good. Down here in the south, it is Leenock up a game. Loves his gold. Will he want it on this map, though? The gold is pretty out of place on this one.
It's way out there, man.
It's way out there. It's a whole other base. It's a whole other part of the map. Does he really want to go for it? We have seen him go for it before on this map, I believe. At least one Zerg has. Might have been like...
Ragnarok went for it on this map.
Yeah, that's right.
GSL.
Ragnarok. Okay.
Ended up beating Deer, I think 3-2 in the best of 5. I was casting those matches actually with Tasteless.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, I think that's how it went down.
Well, looks like he's going to go simply for a normal base this time. Interesting.
Pretty cool. Mixing it up. Not being too predictable, I guess. I mean, of course, this map does have a gold base, but like we were talking about before, it's not quite like Expedition Lost and Overgrowth, but it does have it, so we were speculating, but looks like he's just going to play standard here. Go for that outside base, wants to get the creep spread out there on the map, and then eventually just take that backdoor base for free.
What if we go for the double hatch before pool, or maybe simply just the pool, because he did see that early probe scout.
Well, he does go for 2 drones.
I think he must be going for the pool. Yep. Yeah, don't want to risk it too much. It's a bit of a risky biscuit to go for a double hatch before pool with a scout in your base. Too much.
Yeah. Looks like he's going to go gasless for now. Just wants to pump out as many drones as possible. Possibly take like a very fast third base, maybe not immediately after that first expand. You know, just get a bunch of queens out here, spread that creep. I like that style for this map. I think Leenock, you know, he did his kind of gold. I wouldn't call it gimmicky, but it's his gold kind of play style on that first map in Overgrowth.
I call that gimmicky.
You think so?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It is a gimmicky style, and you know, it's pretty one-dimensional. The amount of times we've seen him play it, and there's only really one way to play it from there as well, which is mass roach. Like, because there's going to be obviously aggression early from the Protoss. It's always going to trigger that. So you have to go into this cheesy sort of style. I call it gimmicky valid.
I guess. I mean, there are some transitions you can do later on if it goes that long, but you are correct. I mean, they stay on Roach Link for like 10 minutes.
Swarm Host was still viable, you know, we could see like some proxy Swarm Host sort of play, you know, from that gold base. But that isn't the case anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Rip.
I know you're hurt, Moonlight. I'm sorry.
Rip. That's okay. I guess the games go faster now.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. It makes it interesting, though. I do appreciate, you know, a nice balance change. Mix things up a bit.
Yeah.
Keep it fresh.
Look at this third base positioning from Leenock. Not even taking his backdoor.
Yeah, I actually really like this. I really like this a lot because he's going to get great creep spread onto the map. It's not like such a vulnerable position for a fourth base either, which is why we do see a lot of Zergs prefer this map.
Oh, what? They're going to go down anyway.
Yeah. And he's always got that fourth base at the pocket natural, which is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic for him to take in the mid game. He's going to have always secure that one pretty easily. But there's also like a vulnerability to that base in the back as well, especially from warp prisms and whatnot. So maybe he wants to try and avoid that for as long as he can as well.
That's a good point. We see another robotics facility coming up here for Hurricane. I would like to think he's not going to go for another Immortal play, but
I don't think he will. I hope not.
I don't know. There's not much. There's not much Protoss play these days where you like go into faster Colossi. You know.
That is a good point.
Usually you see either like Stargate or just straight up, 3-gate Forge expand. He's gonna start adding gates, and I think we're gonna just see another Immortal all in.
Well, the only thing is we don't see like +1 on the map, which is something you usually want to add if you're gonna go for an all-in.
Ooh,
you want
War Prism. Okay.
Yeah. See, this is the other thing. Like, this is the vulnerability of this map. Specifically for Zergs against Protoss, they will have that Warp Prism, and they can warp in a ton of stuff and make things really difficult for the Zerg to ever move out if they do have that pocket natural.
Yeah. Well, I think Hurricane might be a little bit disappointed to find out that Leenock has not taken that backdoor expansion. Of course, Hurricane could try to just get into the main and force field that one ramp.
Could be going for the ramp. With sentries like this, I got to say that's a big possibility. And Leenock doesn't really have anything positioned to identify it. Oh, he must have saw it.
You think he did? He was like going that way.
He turned it around as well, so I'm like, And look at that, already making lings. Got queens on the ramp.
Yeah, he knows.
He knows. Oh, and he even scouts the third base.
Wow.
Leenock is on top of this stuff.
Here comes that sentry, now heading for the back. I was thinking he could do this. Panic did this against Terran.
Look at this. He's like, time to warp in. Like,
he's like, well, you don't have a base. But I'm Protoss. I can't think past that.
Yeah. And he's not going to find much in the main, not with Lings waiting.
Looks like he's thinking about still going for it, but I think that would be a big mistake.
Now we see +1 and Immortals being made. So he is still like Roach fearing. He's like very afraid of the Roach. Especially because it is Leenock, and Leenock does love his Roach.
Yeah. Hurricane can kind of transition into this. With that pressure, he does take Leenock back into his base and gives him enough time here to get up that third base. Hurricane already getting up some cannons, and he's going to keep his units there just to defend. And we already see +1 on the way. Twilight Council out here. Could just transition into mass Blink Stalker Sentry Immortal from here.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. He's going to have that +2 on the way ASAP, and from there, yeah, he's just going to be building a huge... Never mind. Stargate.
Hold that thought.
Yeah. Maybe add some Void Rays with this, I think would be the reason why he added a Stargate. That, or he's just, very wary of possible muta switches, so he wants to have that tech available so he can go into Phoenix. But only one Stargate, so it won't be the hard counter that he'd be looking for.
Yeah, he was thinking about 2 Stargate, and usually 2 Stargate denotes itself to like, oh, I'm going to go double Stargate Phoenix here, right? And just make a bunch of Phoenixes just in case of the mutas.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, nice catch here.
Very important. Going to cut down that link count.
Some of them trying to surviving it in the main base. Oh my god. Gets in the main. He's
not going to find too much there.
Yeah. Overseer in the back, though. It does scout that Stargate at least.
Yeah, and it is going to be Phoenix for starters.
Wow, this Overseer actually catches everything. Sees the Twilight Council, sees the Forge. It's not uncommon stuff to see in a Protoss base at this point in the game, but still.
Yeah, look at that. Adding just Phoenix, blind Phoenix at this point. And we do see 4 Corruptors on the way as well. Interesting.
What do you think that could be? You think he's just going for later game? He had an Infestation Pit on the way. It looks like it actually could have been canceled, or no, okay, it just finished up.
Finished up. Going Hive.
Okay.
I would love to see Broodlords. I'd love to see Broodlords.
I think he may go for it, but if Hurricane does scout this, he's already going to have 2 Stargates out. He already has that one. He's making another one right now.
But even that, if he adds a good number of Hydras or even just simple Corruptors, he can zone out just about anything for Broodlords to do some work. Because obviously the nerf on the Tempest enables Broodlords to just be a little bit more efficient in this matchup. They're looking for the War Prism, it seems. Only 4. With these melee attack upgrades, You know, I could even think him going for Ultras maybe at some point. He's definitely opening it up. Or, you know, Broodlords as well, because obviously Broodlings are going to gain from that buff from the upgrade.
It opens up a lot of different options. I just want to see exactly what he does. He's saving up so many minerals and gas. I think it's obvious he's going to go for one of the two.
Hopefully Broodlord, but he's got to make sure he tries to mask it as best as he can as well. And he's kind of got to be careful because the attack is going to come sooner than later, and he's going to have the units ready for it. So that's why he's making so many spine crawls, because he doesn't have the units for it. He transitioned to his late attack, maybe just a little too late.
Well, I know Leenock is also a master of counterattacks. He's like going to make Hurricane so scared to move out of his base. Anytime he tries to move out, he goes for a counterattack.
Oh, getting a lot of roaches. Yeah, he's not going to find anything with these units. He's going to actually lose just about all of them.
Yeah, Hurricane getting an incredible trade here.
And it is going to be Great Aspire. He also got Pathogen Gland, so he can make a ton of Infestors right now, which he probably should. Maybe 8 Infestors, I'd have to say. Just get them out now, because the attack is coming. You do not have time to wait for Broodlords.
He's being greedy. He's like, no, I'm okay. It's not lined up with the glands, at least. And this attack is coming right now.
Well, we got 3 Infestors on the way. And 4 more Corruptors, but I mean...
Those spine crawlers are at the front of that, I guess you can call it third base. Oh, huge run by into the main base.
Well, that's something, but, you know, you can warp in DTs. And while this is happening, the main, the Pocket Natural, and the third base are all going to go down for Hurricane. There's no way he can deal with this.
He's just trying to buy time for his Greater Spire, but DTs, as you mentioned, are the unit of choice to defend against that. And naturally going to go down here for Leenock. All the spine crawlers up there at the third base, but with all these Immortals and even Archons in the mix, I think they could just go head-to-head with the spine crawlers, losing all of these drones in that natural.
Yeah, it actually does not matter whatsoever. This army is just way too good at dealing with static defense and Ling Roach. He transitioned too late. You know, he went for the hive way too late. He should have got out at least some Infestors in time for this, which he could have. You know, he waited a long time before he started to make any.
Greater Spire going to go down. Interesting that he decided to make that at his outer base, I have to say. But he does get those 6 Broodlords out. 1 Tempest on the way.
Well, I guess if he can deflect it from here, maybe he's in a good position if he can save his main and fourth. Old fourth, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he did cut down Hurricane to only 2 bases now. So it would be 2 base against 2 base. But
with Tempest on the way there, that's kind of a pretty decent counter to what we see. And, you know, he could even just blink forward at this point and try and kill them. Nice fungal, though. That's going to do the trick. If he can actually
does he have a second one? He actually misses the Stalkers. Big blink forward, but just too much Zerg here, looks like, for the Stalkers on the ground. He's going to be forced to retreat now.
Yeah, you know, he didn't chain those fungals. He left a big window open for these Stalkers to blink forward, and he lost a couple of broods for it. So, massive mistake there. He could not afford that.
Yeah, he needed to keep all of those Broodlords alive, and now he's on 2 base. He's making another Spire. And even droning a bit. I guess he hopes to just retake those bases.
Oh,
but
no.
That's GG immediately. WW even.
That's rage GG, man.
Yeah. Hurricane, he takes that match. We're going to game number 3 in the series. Hurricane does not want to go down without a fight. And Leenock, he sometimes gets into these weird situations in late games. I mean, I remember the game against Myungshik where he just like waited so long to make a bunch of ultras, and they came out like way too late against Mass Blink Stalker that Myungshik was going for.
He is a bit indecisive, isn't he? When it comes to the late game like that. If he was really, you know, fixing for that like past tier 3 like results, he could have done it way earlier. Yeah. Way earlier.
He needs to do it earlier. He needed to have some key units out to defend and buy himself some time, like those Infestors. They popped out, but they weren't very useful because they were too late.
And he didn't even have any static defense at his third base, so there was no way he's going to defend it anyway. But if he had like 8 spines plus like 5 Infestors to fungal everything, he can hold it off. Yeah. He can actually just hold it off.
So for both players, people going into the booth talking to the players and giving them some advice. It's actually a pretty close series going into game number 3.
Yeah, this is actually turning out to be a fantastic best of 3. Third map going to be Expedition Lost.